Why you're bored with food. Why does food boredom happen? What causes food boredom? And how do we fix that? It's funny because there are really two kinds of eaters. People who eat similar things every day and know they do, and people who eat similar every day, but they don't really think they do, or they don't know they do. So we definitely tend to, especially for breakfast and lunch, I think, more so have a pretty similar routine. And what we tend to vary is dinner. And even with dinners, it's a cycle. We tend to cook the same things. We just don't realize it until we sit down and track it. And when you go to enter it into MyFitnessPal, the same meals keep popping up because we tend to eat the same things. So, which one are you guys? Type it in the chat. Does this sound familiar? You're doing all the right things, you're eating healthier, you're tracking, you're meal prepping, but you're over it. Food doesn't sound good. Nothing sounds good, as a matter of fact. And you just want to snack, go off plan, or you might even be feeling stuck. Like, I'm just so over this whole process. So this is what it boils down to, what food boredom really is. You see the little chicken nugget letters saying meh, it's boredom, right? Mindless snacking. You're at the computer and you just reach for food, or you might think in your head that you have these particular cravings, although sometimes the cravings are legit, especially back in the day when we had our little friend. There is definitely some merit to cravings during that time. And then sometimes we're just frustrated because we feel like, oh my gosh, I have to eat another salad or another piece of broccoli, and I'm just totally over it. So those are some of the scenarios that can pop up, and I'm sure they probably sound familiar to all of you. Why does it happen? Just in general, from lack of variety slash planning to have variety, over restriction, telling yourself, I cannot have this kind of food, an emotional disconnection with food. You're eating because of something that is not related to hunger. You've got decision fatigue, and also just all of the myths that we tell ourselves around food and meal planning and preparation. What does happen as a result of those feelings? For sure, it can derail your goals. You may tend to snack more often, crave processed foods, the ones that are not the best for us in the long run, majority of the time. We tend to emotionally eat versus eating for a reason slash intention. And then we have these feelings of guilt and we just say, screw it. And we go down this rabbit hole. And sometimes that means binging. Sometimes that just means, you know what? I already screwed breakfast up. I'm going out to lunch and I'm going out to dinner later. So I'm not even going to try to select things that would push me more towards my goals. I'm just going to eat whatever the heck I want. And while I'm at it, I'm going down that rabbit hole. And then I'll just start on Monday. Monday just seems to be this magical day where all things get reset, and food is definitely one of them. That's generally what can happen. And I'm sure we've all experienced that. Can you think of any situations where this has happened? How do we fix it? Switch things up without stressing. Just plan several days that are going to be different. Just as you would sit and plan 1 or 2 days, maybe you need to add a third day or a fourth day where you're maybe keeping breakfast and lunch the same, but you switch out dinner. Or you keep lunch the same and you change breakfast and dinner. Try to switch it up without stressing. Macros give you structure that also creates freedom. And then remember too, if you have your protein, fat, and carbohydrate goal already, that takes care of your calories, but you do always have that calorie boundary as your level one, so to speak. When all else fails and you've already blown your macros for the day, try to stay within your calorie boundary. And if that doesn't happen, so what? You're human and tomorrow's another day. The thing that causes us to spiral is when we start beating ourselves up and continue to beat ourselves up. We just go down that rabbit hole and we can't pull ourselves out. Make food fun again. Try some new recipe. Go online. I think further down on in the presentation here, I'll talk about some tips to do just that and build those snacks in. So instead of telling yourself, I can't have X, Y, or Z, put the X, Y, or Z in and work around it. Because the beauty of having a calorie boundary, but not necessarily having to hit your targets as far as your protein, carbohydrates, and fat, you always have that ability to just say, okay, if I am only having 1,200 calories and I want to have this massive ice cream cone and that's going to cost me 500 calories, then your remaining meals, you're going to want to try to get them to add up to 700 calories. How do you do that? Eating a crap ton of vegetables and a crap ton of lean protein. Enabling yourself to have those fun foods or enjoyable, really enjoyable foods on occasion is going to give you the permission to maybe have those ribs or whatever it is that you want to have that doesn't always fit your day to day. But hey, maybe you pick 1 or 2 days during the week where you just worry about hitting your total calories. Batch prepping for flexibility. Easy thing to do as far as this is concerned is have your proteins batch prepped. And then you can add different sauces. You can throw them into different meals so that, yeah, it might be chicken, but you might be having it 5 different ways. I've even gone so far as to, on occasion, I'll rotate. So I'll do shredded chicken in my Instant Pot. Sometimes I'll pan fry it. Sometimes I'll air fry it. Sometimes I'll bake it. And using different seasonings, different sauces, then you can spruce it up after it's already cooked. You can do the same thing pretty much with any protein, whether it's salmon, any kind of fish, any kind of beef, your ground turkeys. Think about ways that you can batch prep to have it done and ready, but then how do you combine it with different sauces or stir fries, vegetables, just to change up the taste. And then lastly, they address the real boredom. Are you truly bored with your food, or is something else going on that's causing you to feel that way? A lot of times we use food to alleviate our emotions, our feelings, and lots of times one of the things we feel is boredom. When you are super busy and super structured, it's so much easier to stay on plan and follow your plan and even create a plan than it is when you have so much less structure. And that's why people do amazing during the week and then the weekend hits. And I won't say all hell breaks loose, but that's that whole weekend warrior mindset, right? Where Monday morning rolls around and it's like, crap, I'm up the 2 to 3 pounds that I lost last week. But what is that really from? It could be from whatever foods you did feed yourself that may not be typical for you. So, foods that might cause inflammation. It could be that you were out really late and you didn't sleep. It could be that you're really stressed out. You've got a lot of stuff going on in your world, and that can create inflammation as well. Think about the cause of the boredom. Where is it coming from? Something that I would be great for you guys to do is go through these 10 scenarios and think about your eating habits. So what are your food preferences? Morning, midday, afternoon, night, middle of the night? Go ahead and list those food preferences. Describe a food you would order out on your own or when you're on the go. Describe a food when you are eating out with others. List food and drink preferences at social events. These are things that we might not even think that we do, but without being mindful, without being really truly present, you will notice patterns of your own. Summarize eating patterns when you're sad. What kind of eating patterns do you have when you're celebrating? I've often talked about how food is used for so many things, and celebrating is for sure one of them. Any kind of happy event or even sad events. Describe what happens to your eating patterns when you're sick. List the most common things you prepare for yourself. Detail what you love to have cooked for you. And I would even include right above there, things you prepare for yourself. And then identify which of the two eating styles that I talked about earlier you are. Somebody that eats the same or somebody that really doesn't think they do. But in essence, if you look at your food diaries, you really do eat the same. Another thing you can do is look up last month's food purchases on your credit card statements. How many grocery store trips did you take? How much money did you spend? And then how many non-grocery store trips where you still got food and how much money did you spend there? Just to create awareness, right? And then how can we perhaps deal with food boredom? Add one new flavor or ingredient to your next meal. It could be even adding a new vegetable or a new fruit or a new whole grain. Check out recipes using search words like AIP, which stands for Autoimmune Protocol, Whole30, which is another eating program, but it's all based on single ingredient whole foods, and Paleo, which pretty much eliminates most grains. It's the caveman diet. A lot of meat and fat, but very little carbohydrates. Another thing you can do today is say you have ground turkey and a bunch of stir-fry vegetables, pop that into AI and see what kind of recipes it comes up with. I did that last week and I made one pot meal in a frying pan and it was really tasty. And then write down 3 meals you actually look forward to. And then always asking yourself that question, am I bored with my food or something else in my life? Or is there another reason that I'm just feeling bored? So just to recap, food should feel good, eat what nourishes you the majority of the time, and shake it up to make food exciting again. So, any questions on that or any slides you want me to review?
Does your body get used to eating the same things like over and over?
Let's just say you guys can all come back on if you want. I would say it gets used to eating the same things, and then when you introduce something new, your body might have a response. And when I say new, I'm thinking about something that would be more along the lines of an inflammatory type of food. If you eliminate dairy for a while,
Yep.
and then you eat it again, you might feel bloated, you might feel gassy. So, does your body get used to foods? I'm sure it does. Thinking about like my taste buds or anybody's taste buds, the more you get away from eating highly salty foods, highly sugary foods, and then you go back to eating them, then your body's like, whoa, that's really salty. That's really sweet. But as far as, your body getting used to eating the same things, it's not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to vegetables and fruits. It's actually good for your gut health to switch that up. So if I'm a creature of habit because I'm lazy. So I pretty much eat the same vegetables majority of the time. And I remember when I was working with a naturopath, she's like, I would love to see you switch up some of your fruits and vegetables because it's just good to have the variety for your gut health. So hopefully, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Have you guys used just the regular old search engine to look for recipes or meal combinations before,
all the time.
or more like a recipe book kind of person?
I look stuff up all the time on the internet, all the time.
Yeah.
I have an app that is a recipe app that when you see a recipe online, you can copy it and it will automatically load into my app. It's awesome.
Oh, what is that?
It's called Paprika.
Paprika.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let me make sure. Yeah, Paprika 3. And
Nice.
it's fabulous.
I like that.
And it imports everything in, and then you can adjust it, you can increase volume if you want to make 3 times as much or have something, or it's I've been using it for years. I love it.
Nice. I'll have to for sure share that. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
Hmm.
Going once, going twice. Was that helpful?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.